Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is Grand Arena, the first match of Season 26. We have several announcements. I think I'll sprinkle these throughout the beginning of the video. But we are part of the Escape Podcast Grand Arena Center for the season, so that'll be an interesting thing to track. I'll put a link down to their Twitch stream in the description. On top of that, I'm approaching 1,000 subscribers, so there's a few things related to that I want to talk about. But I don't want to take too long with this stuff, so I want to jump into the review of how my defenses did during the final season of last Grand Arena. So first round, that's the second round. So first round, my opponent only just did one battle for the minimum amount of banners. This is the race season, right? Yeah. The second round, Bosk lost to Beskar Mando. This was quitting, probably issues with... I'm kind of surprised he lost. Maybe things just didn't go well. I'd be interested to know more. I'm glad that worked out. Wampud, my Mon Mothma probably had the Omicron. I wish we could see whether or not Omicron or Zetas were on these characters in these reviews. Traya up against the Geos. JML up against Darth Revan. Most of this is straightforward. He used Darth Revan up against my preloaded turn meter Scion and lost a couple guys. That's nice. Still a loss for me though, but that's fine to eat up a Darth Revan squad. CLS up against Bosk, Trprs up against the JTR, JKR up against Dash, Geos up against Hux, Gas versus Qui-Gon. Most of this is straightforward, but I ended up losing this one because I didn't get the fleet RNG I needed with the Executor, and I goofed off a little early thinking this was going to be an easy win because I knew he couldn't clear my fleets, but I couldn't clear his. Final round, this one was a win. A weak gas team losing up against my Darth Revan. That happens. You need at least a base level of relics and good mods to make sure you don't lose to Darth Revan teams. I'm kind of still surprised mine won, but I did have Darth Talon. Grievous, my Bosk, Traya, my Geos, CLS. This is one of the things you need to be careful about and why I put Nest on my defense, even though I like to keep Nest on offense for solos, is there's a lot of players, myself included, who will get timed out against Nest, forgetting that their certain characters are going to get stuck into a situation where Nest won't take a turn. So Trprs, that'll happen if you put Stark in there. CLS, obviously one of those squads. Troopered my Mon Mothma. Sing up against Darth Revan. That's a pretty... Oh, this was attempt 2. Okay, that's fine. That's a weak or a Sing team. Palped my... this is the thing is... that happens when you're not careful with the front wall, is you need to take teams you don't want to up against other squads. So taking Palpatine on his second attempt up against Scion, that's rough. You don't want to do that. It's fine if it's your first attempt. Darth Revan, my Qui-Gon, which did not work out, which is why, though, I have Yoda in there, which is not always ideal. JMK, Grievous, Padme, Hux, and then his Cura lost to my Dash, which is a nice result. Probably because no one here is really a effective damage dealer. Like Lando has Relics, but he's still not a great damage dealer at Relics. And with the staggers from Dash, that's going to mess up Nest even more. I'm not too surprised by that. What we are looking at today in terms of my matchup is we are still in Kyber 2, skill rating of 3, 3, 4, 6. Let me show you what the bracket looks like this season. This is something that we usually do, just do the first match of a week. Let me move my head out of the way. My opponent is Hero Man right next to me on the left-hand side. We'll take a look at the hotbot in a moment. Overall GP, I've got a 400 or less than 400,000 GP difference. Zetas are similar, but he has an extra GL, so there's probably a few things he's missing since I have the advantage. Omicrons, he's got an extra one, but I think it was a Territory War one. Relics, he has more, but this is at the kind of the average to lower end of what is typical for Kyber 2 of what I've been seeing. Lowish on the Gear 12, Gear 11 Plus at 134 to my 184. That's somewhat shallow. With the 6-dot mods, he has more, has the advantage in the top 25, but I have the overall advantage in top 500 and on counts, except for the 25 plus speed mods. And then when it comes down to each individual character, he has a mod advantage. His top characters are modded better than mine throughout. And he has good GLs with JMK, JML, and Sith Eternal Emperor. When we look at the rest of the matchup for this week, kind of similar things here. Omicrons, everyone is in that 3 range, except there's a couple people with only 1. GLs for the most part are 3 to 4. I'm usually always going to be at the low end, and I'm glad that I have that second GL because I think players like me who are surviving a long time with only 1 GL in Kyber 2, that's probably not as possible as it used to be now that a lot of the weaker Kyber 2 players have dropped out, or some of the players who don't play as seriously have dropped down. In terms of the overall top 25 speed, this is something that we've been seeing a little bit more lately as the player, the matchmaking gets a little bit more competitive, is the margins are getting smaller in the quality of mods. So there's a few more people in that top 25 range and nobody lower than 23, which still means I have an advantage. I'm in 3rd place, but not as much of an advantage as before. And then top 500, this is where you still see me having a pretty big advantage in overall mod quality. Omicrons, couple people are on the Iden Verso train. I didn't waste a second on that one. Iden Verso is amazing. A few people, including my opponent, have the Dash Rendar Omicron, which is interesting. No one's really fired them up. You can see that I'm almost ready for Star Killer. That was one thing I was on the lookout this week too, is this is the first week free-to-play players are likely to start having Star Killer. I'm going to have them for next week. I was a Gear 12 plus piece short and some relic materials, but my brother got them. My opponent does have a good Zam though for his Omicrons. No Maul. And then some of these roster depth characters is where my opponent gets a bit weaker on. 7-star Executor. This is also the first Grand Arena where there are going to be changes to the Kyber Grand Arena fleet defenses. So we'll see how my opponent plays it. Usually he's a strong defense guy. Most players were before. Maybe that won't be the case. But let's take a look at the hot bot. And because some of that's redundant, so as we're reaching this 1,000 subscriber threshold, there's a few things I want to do. So I want to invite players who are subscribed to the channel to head to the Discord if you want roster reviews. I have been usually bearing this in a video near the end because I don't want to get inundated with players requesting roster reviews because I put a decent amount of time into them, so there's only so many I can do at a time. But I think now a lot of the regular viewers, I've gone through them, so I want to open it up a little bit more, where I am keeping open roster reviews for until I hit 1,000 subscribers. After that, roster reviews will be kept to the people who have been early adopters to the channel, to that first 1,000 subscribers, and it will be for then Patreon donations, other things like that, because as the amount of followers to the channel grows, it gets harder and harder to keep up with all the different things I'm trying to do for the channel as it grows. Other things I want to do in terms of videos is I'm thinking for the 1,000 subscribers to do something like a how much I've spent in this game video, and maybe to do some sort of promotion or competition around that where players guess the amount and whoever is closest, or if there's several people, maybe I'll send them a sketch or something, and I might add that to the Discord. In terms of the hot bot, again, this is a Discord bot from Hot Utils. This has been getting better and better, and once I'm monetized, I am going to be subscribing to his Patreon. Overall, Guild GP, I've got the advantage, which is nice. Lifetime banners, this is no longer updated, but I like to see it because it's a serious metric. Helps me gauge how good my opponent is. He's a pretty competitive one. Clears and undersizes, I have advantages, but these are good totals. You can see they're not too far off from mine. Top 80 GP, he has the advantage, even though I have the overall GP advantage, but that's because of the relics. That's where the difference is made up. Looks like he has an additional Omicron since the Grand Arena bracket was done. Zetas we already talked about. And then relics we talked about. With the 6-stop mods, he has more, but I have more speed depth, just not in the top 20 plus. And relics, we're pretty similar, except where his advantage in relics is basically entirely located in the tier 7 relics. You know, that's something to keep in mind. He's got a nice advantage there. Really nice GLs that are modded really well. And then all these other key characters, much better mods. Although his JML is slower, that's what you want for JKL lead. Not always when you pair JKL with JML. Mine is kind of in the middle because I don't want to change up mods. I don't always know how I intend to use them. So I should try to find a sweet spot where he isn't super slow, but he is also not super fast. So I can use him in either situation. Better Darth Revan, better Cat, no Maul. Better Piet. Moff Gideon is slow and not finished. His Echo is better. So that is what we are looking at. I think we're just going to get into it. Sometimes I like to click on my opponent's roster and show what some of their characters are like, what it looks like at the top end, but this has been a long prologue to the match. We're just going to move on. We talked about... See, I made a couple notes about things I want to talk about. And actually, let's do a quick breakdown of the defense. This was all put in. You see, Dash now has the Relic, which improves this squad. Kyle Katarn I could have brought to Relics, but I wanted him to look... I wanted this Mon Mothma squad to still look a little weak because my opponents tend to underestimate this squad. So he actually has the finisher, a couple Gear 12 pieces, but I intentionally did not relic him for the week. He'll be relic for next week. Hux is what Hux is. And JTR, you guys know what I'm typically doing. Although once I have Starkiller, I'm going to start changing things up. I'll have a little bit more depth and flexibility at that point. The last talk video also had a lot of gearing, where I now have Gamorrean Guard and the Inquisitors are making progress. So maybe we'll get to do a little testing of Inquisitors. He has some weak teams on his back wall from his Grand Arena history. That might be a place where we take a risk. This is my standard front wall Darth Talon, though. I added the Relic to make this squad more dangerous. And really just to make her faster. I was adding the Gear 12 Plus finishers added a bunch of speed to her. And she's pretty fragile, so it's something that I like. We'll spend some time on the fleet because of these Grand Arena changes, but here's the back wall. This Padme team I really want to find a replacement for. On the fleet, I did have a talk video about those fleet changes where I go into this a little bit more in depth, but the way that I'm thinking about it is I want something that is a middle tier team, because if my opponent goes full defense, I should have the fleet offense to take out his strong defense, but he shouldn't have enough left over to go after mine. I might play with this though. I might end up keeping the Rebels, or I might end up keeping the Empire. I'd like to swap in the Finalizer, but my Finalizer is not really quite there. Maybe after I get the Echelon, I'm considering using these shipments and getting my Echelon up to 5 stars a little faster. Because you need the Echelon at 5 stars to be able to get both those reinforcement abilities to really make it do better. And it took First Order Officer up to Gear 12 for those purposes. My opponent changed things up a little bit with their defense. I think because he has the advantage in GLs, he thought he could make his defense a little tougher and still have enough for my defense. I would guess he looked at my roster. I don't know if he looked at my history. And the rest of this is basically what he does. So Geos, this Boba Fett team has tripped up a number of opponents because of the Zam Omicron. I'm not going to take chances here. Grievous, Nute. Bottom territory. Two GLs down here. This is not what he does. He's usually a 1 GL on defense guy. JML, and he has speed advantages on a number of these characters, just barely beats my Revan. I actually changed up my mods after seeing the speed on this guy because I was a little disappointed that I couldn't beat it. So there's a little bit of risk here. The JMK, Qui-Gon, and Mon Mothma. We're going to start with Mon Mothma. This is I like a palate cleanser to get going in the first match of the season. Because I'm rusty whenever I do these. Like I tend to make dumb mistakes. I'm also trying to get into the habit of using the squad selector. So I've been watching Rebels. I think I'm 4 episodes in. On the Discord, I've been putting episode reactions. They're not really episode reviews, just things that stick out to me while I'm watching. It's usually just weird or humorous observations. I really get annoyed, not so much annoyed, but the backgrounds are very noticeable to me about how much of a cost savings there is in Rebels compared to Clone Wars in terms of the richness and quality of those backgrounds. But maybe the final season of Clone Wars is perverting that observation, because the final season of Clone Wars was kind of ridiculously cinematic. That's probably not a fair comparison. I probably need to remind myself of what season 1 of Clone Wars was like. In general, though, it's much better than I thought it was going to be. Because hearing so many things about it, and I'm a pretty harsh critic, I thought it was going to be worse. But it's so far better than Clone Wars Season 1. Alright. Last time we did, not last time, a couple matches ago, this went wrong for me. Very weirdly. I just got bad RNG. How fast is your... I'm going to make a note to check on how fast this Kyle Katarn is. That was ridiculous. My troopers are decently modded too. Because usually I'm always able to get the revive ability up. I'm going to take out... No, Pow's about to go. I'm going to hit Pow. Alright, if Kyle Katarn comes back, we are going to be able to handle him. Katarn does... I need to switch to this. My bad, sorry about that, guys. Katarn does add a bunch of speed to the squad. That is part of what we were seeing. Biggs also generates a bunch of turn meter. What is going on? See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, my opponents are getting much better. Let's see if we can take out Wedge quick. Wait, no, let's stun Katarn. This is getting a little scary. And don't you guys even think about taking anybody out. Alright, this puts down Katarn for good. The Iden Verso has been 99% successful for me. There was one... Maybe let's say 95% successful. There was one time I went up against a ridiculous opponent who had a full Relic 7 Mon Mothma squad. That didn't work. We just couldn't drive up the damage to the point where I could take out enough people. That was a timeout. And then there was another attempt last week where I lost Death Trooper. And like, I've lost 2 guys this time. Fortunately, it wasn't Death Trooper, because without Death Trooper, this is a loss. Death Trooper keeps that working. Okay. Man. Definitely looking at the mods on that Mon Mothma squad. Maybe because it's low stars too. He does have the Zeta. Maybe my opponents before didn't have the Zeta. I'm sure they did. I'm just surprised it did that well. It's gotta be mods. He must just have this team modded closer to how mine is. Now, I think we're just gonna do the GLs. Plan is JMK versus JMK and JML versus JML. I have been using my JMK in my squad arena. I've been using it with Mace and GK. My Kenobi is still Relic 5, no ultimate. I needed to start saving crystals. I stopped refreshing as much, so getting the light side tickets has been a little slower. I have a Relic 4 Commander Ahsoka, which I just took her up to. With Relic 3 Commander Ahsoka, I've been able to beat teams like this in my squad arena with this team. So that's what I'm hoping for. Mace makes it where my JMK can win this. There's an easy way and a hard way, though, depending on who Cat takes out. Let's target Ahsoka just to dispel the buffs. Okay, we're going to get the easier way. It's when Mace is not taken out, this is easier. Because this dual tank option means he can't go, his AI can't go after who he wants to, and I'm able to go after who I want to. And that is enough to make the difference. And when Mace is alive, I get Shattered Point, I get nice assist calls. Although the Padme versions of this I don't see as much. And if I lose my JMK, this could be very bad. Come on. We're not making the progress I would have liked to by this point. I mean, she doesn't have damage immunity, does she? Okay, now she has damage immunity. So I'm just gonna do this, let her take her turn in a second, and then I'll hit her with the armor shred. She still has damage immunity. Take your turn. Okay, this is getting a little scary. Oh no. Okay. This is a loss now, and it might mean I can't. I'm just hoping I can take out Commander Ahsoka before I lose this. No. Yeah. Alright. This is a loss then. This guy's mods are good. It means his mods are also better than people in my squad arena. I didn't check how he's doing in the squad arena. How's he doing? See, see, the problem is now I don't have a way through this. All right. And we'll see how this goes. It's depending on where his JKR marks. This could go poorly too. You can just see the mods. The mod project for me, I've been fixing on the margin. My cat's much better than it was. My JMK is much better than it was. I've been saving a lot of my slicing for wanting to do a stream. So I've been delaying a lot of slicing for a long time. This could still be a win though. What I'm thinking is, if my defense in other places can hold, if I clear everything I can, I might be able to win on banners if my defense holds. It's a big ask because this guy is not a soft opponent. But I don't think it's out of the question if my fleet holds. But it depends what he has back there, so we need to check that out. Let's just take out Shaak T. This is over in a moment. We get our ultimate. Throw down that armor shroud. We got a master's training. Here we go. I think maybe I could have kept gas back, but I don't want to risk that. There's just nothing I can bring at this JMK now. I'm just wondering what would happen if I threw in like CLS. And we know there's no Padme squad, so how about we do Empire here? Just because I might need my Night Sisters for that Grievous. Where's my March? This gets a little scary though, and he's got good speeds. I probably should double check those speeds actually. So Anakin's at 298. My Empire should still outspeed him. So everyone has foresight. Big thing to do is to break the normal move and don't use the Force Crush. Are you kidding me? What gear was his Qui-Gon? Oh, Mace, you are... Oh my god. I'm very irritated right now. This is why I like my Night Sister move. How did his Qui-Gon go down that fast? Taking out Qui-Gon. I'm gonna do what it's a pretty good Grievous. What I want to see is if it was going to be necessary to save my Night Sisters. Because I actually don't really love to use my Shaak T team, but the BB-8 is speeding up everyone is going to make a difference here. which is why I do the same thing. Okay. Make sure sacrifices don't happen too early. I feel like this is late in the battle for Echo to be throwing that. I don't want to trigger that right now. I have several characters without protection. Maybe now we do it. I just want to stretch this out as much as I can right now. No. Okay, that was a sacrifice. Rex, when are you going to give me the ability I want? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. What's going on, Rex? Yeah, I didn't need my Night Sisters. Maybe I should have done this battle first. Could have used my Night Sisters on that Qui-Gon. And not lost a team. Cat, don't get on the wires. No, no, no. I think we're gonna do troop. Do I really want to do that? Yeah. What I don't have. If I do troopers, I can't use Stark. Can't use Magma, he also removes turn meter. I'd have to use Stormtrooper. How do I feel about this? Is that too good of a team to do this against? Let's just find out. Because I keep raising the ceiling on the Nute teams I bring Trprs against, because they keep doing all right. But this one worries me. Okay, there's one. I don't want to mess with Dooku. I guess maybe I should have, because he's still going to counter. There's one on Nute. Alright, here's my daze, which will now allow me to start hitting Dooku. I want to get rid of Dooku fast. Yeah, we already got days. Now I just need to kill time until I can take out Jango. Actually, let's just do this. Nest is only gear 12, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it's just a timing thing. Jango, I think we need to wait twice. I think that's the first turn. Yeah, that's the first turn. Actually, let's keep Nute alive. I'm going to throw an armor shred over on Nest though while we wait. I want Piet to do the hit on Nest. Don't want to take turn meter right now. This is just, we gotta be just a little careful, but it's straightforward. Limiting the specials, because there's a lot of turn meter manipulation. I don't want to take out Nute right now and drive more turn meter. And Nute with the extortion can help speed things along. But with Stark here, this is a timeout. Jango would never go. And there we go. Trprs just still taking out like a really nice new team. So we have Boba Fett, Cad Bane, Dengar. I'm just wondering if between Maul and CLS who I want to be using here. CLS I know will work, Maul will be fine. It's really who do I which body do I want to throw at JMK. Probably CLS. thing is, my Palpatine would have beat that. It would be nice to have my Palpatine. Traya, I'm saving for Geos. Night Sisters won't work. I should have just done my standard stuff with Night Sisters up against Qui-Gon. I just felt like my Shaak T team could have lost. And if Shaak T lost, I would need something to bring up against that Grievous. And with all the speed, I know my Bad Batch isn't going to work. And those relic levels, it gets pretty iffy. Where's that Maul team? So I added a couple things to the Discord channel lately. Added a thing for announcements as I transition to preparing to stream. There's going to be some other things. I did order a new computer, so some of this nonsense will be better and I'll be streaming. I just don't know when that thing is going to arrive. It could be 2 months before it shows up. And I put a little channel there for stuff I'm reading. I put like all the comics I've been reading lately. What do I want to do here? Let's take out Zam. There's no taunt. We don't need to worry about doing any of that. This might be overkill. Not might be. This is definitely overkill. A lot of his opponents have lost to this, where I think it's just not understanding how dangerous Boba Fett at Relic 8 is, and it's an issue of not really understanding or respecting what Zam is contributing to this. Really? Really wanted that JMK to win. I'm gonna have the ultimate for next week. I don't know if I'm gonna have the relic materials to be able to both get Star Killer and to Relic 7 my JMK by then, but we'll see. But I felt like I could win that JMK. It was because the Relic 5 Cat and Ahsokas I've been beating in Squad Arena. And like the top 20 of my Squad Arena. That's where I've been practicing. Although maybe Padme was making a difference. Usually Gas is in the squad, not Padme. So he still has CLS, Darth Revan. He used up most of his Jedi. I think he's got gas. Yeah, he's got gas. So CLS, Darth Revan, gas, Sith Eternal Emperor. That gives him 4 really nice squads. And then you think he drops down pretty quick after that. So I wrote this down. What does he use on offense? Oh, I know, those are defensive squads. Alright. He's got Trprs, but his Trprs aren't as good as mine. I don't know. I feel like I got a shot. He's got Palpatine, so he's got five squads. His Traya will take out my Geos is 6. Are you guys kidding me? What is this? I wasn't even like paying attention. I wasn't expecting this kind of sloppiness. It's fine, but it's just really sloppy. Alright, let's check out what fleets we gotta deal with. Oh, we gotta clean up that one squad. So at least one-shot everything there. I think what we're going to do is we'll do Qui-Gon, we'll go to fleets, and then we'll throw in some bodies at JMK and see what kind of miracles can happen. Which I'm not expecting any. I'll save Wampa just in case. Let's just do Night Sisters. I like Talia against people with healing immunity. Mace does make this more annoying. He really, really does. Sure, let's spread plague. Why are you guys doing this so early? Just leave Doc alone. No, 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 no. Yeah, I like that. Sure, let's just take out Mace right now. Oh wait, we're gonna trigger a thing. Okay. Let's not take anybody else out. Just basics now. It's kind of the perfect scenario. This weak cloak. You know, I should do that with my JMK squad. What am I talking about? I need to put a really bad Jedi in there. Who do I have in there? I've got Ayla, Yoda, JK, Cam. I need to go check that out. Because this part of the reason why that got sloppy was having a really weak Jedi makes it a little more risky in triggering Anakin when you don't want to trigger Anakin. So there's actually an incentive to put bad Jedi in there. And actually to not increase the relics on your Qui-Gon too much. Oh yeah, I probably just... I mean, I guess my Cam is serving that purpose. Maybe we make Cam taunt. Yeah, maybe it's time to put that Omega on, because if Cam could be messing things up, he could taunt, force an attack there, and trigger the JK when you don't want him to. Alright, what do we got? He set down a pretty smart defense that I don't like because it means he can clear me. I would love some presets though on offense. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't want that. Still need all of that. I technically could probably take out IG 2000, but it really depends on how this battle goes. There's still some risk with this since I have a 6-star. But more often than not, I win. Yeah, so we target boss. Perfect. That's what I want to happen. Now we cleanse the Razor Crest. Target his. We mark him. I think this is the same as all those videos about the 7-star ones, but I haven't watched them, but I imagine from the thumbnails, this is what they say. I'm gonna call in Houndstooth to clear the target lock. Doesn't really do anything. Big thing here is bringing the Ebon Hawk so he can't get to his payout. And there we go, this is a win. I'm actually done relicking my Beskar Mando because of how important having a weaker ban is for countering the Executor. Because you want to go second. Calling in Cad Bane here, the Xanadu Blood, to get us towards that payout. Seriously. Really? How did you guys get to yours first? What is going on here? Weird. He might be, because of this, he might... Oh, I can take out IG one time. I don't think this is a loss. I think it's just going to be a little rougher. Okay. Don't die on me. Alright, and the next what's it called, bomb will take out Houndstooth. Seismic charge. I can't believe it was like my favorite thing. I can't believe I slipped on what's it called. Are you kidding me? Okay, now we might lose because he's going to get to that second ultimate pretty soon. Or I timeout. I'm going to auto now. Come on. He healed up, though. The second ultimate's an automatic win, or we time out. I don't know what's going to happen first. Oh, okay, now it's a loss. It's a definite loss. And now it's a loss. It's actually my first time seeing that, so that's kind of fun. This is not my day. This is not how I wanted this season to get started. Because he's going to be able to, on offense, use Malevolence against Negotiator, Negotiator against my Rebels, and then he still has Empire to throw at whatever I've got left. You know what? Yeah, let's just do it. I don't even really need that. I was hoping he'd put down a stronger defense. He played it how I played it. Just a different version of it. Let me check my notes. Did I talk about everything I wanted to talk about? Roster reviews, 1,000 subscribers, GAC. Yeah, I talked about all that stuff. I want more nonsense to talk about. I guess I just haven't been doing as much nonsense. I haven't been eating the nonsense sandwiches that I sometimes... What am I doing? That I sometimes do. I just, I finally watched Witcher Season 2. Just... I couldn't remember anything about Witcher Season 1, so I just been putting it off. I like it a lot more than Witcher Season 1 because I actually could follow what was going on. And I liked how it balanced the Monster of the Week stuff with the overall story. It's what I want more shows to do a better job of. Like the Star Wars stuff. You're gonna die. So with the Executor cleanup, what I'm thinking about doing is using the Raddus to take out the Executor and then Finalizer to clean it up. Wait, no, that's not going to work. I only have... How horrible of a team can I use up against Mace? Because I only have 2 fleet? This is what I've been talking about with wiggle room. There's no wiggle room. Can I take Mace, my Mace and Junk against his? Because he doesn't have a Raddus. He's got a his Poe is probably bad too, right? Yeah, his Poe is bad. Well, okay. Maybe I'm approaching this wrong. So So do I either take the Finalizer up against the Houndstooth and Executor? Or do I take the Raddus? The Raddus, I know I can take out the Executor. I just don't know if I can take out the Houndstooth. So that leaves me Poe and some other stuff. Or do I rely on the Finalizer to get me through it? Let's see. I don't. You know what? Let's see it in action. I'm gonna let the Raddus attempt to do this. So here's my useless bomber. I just want to see what ships are going to be left for me to throw in if this stuff goes poorly. There's not enough ships. It doesn't... You know, we have a Sith, kind of a Sith fleet. I'm bringing in the Sergeant. I just like a backup tank with this. You can see how weak this MG100 is. Alright. Let's see. Target lock. Expose. Whatever. Let's dispel. We can't at least get rid of the tenacity. So we're removing turn meter. Damages max health. I think I want to do the basic and add concussion mines. No, you leave her alone. We should get to that ultimate pretty quick. I just don't know if we can take out the Houndstooth. This was my whole concern with this. Alright, so here's the ultimate. And now I'm going to hit auto and see if it's possible for me to win this. We do have buff immunity out here. You know what? That's what I should have thought about a bit more. Is another ship with some buff immunity. Because if Houndstooth goes, we're kind of in trouble. Okay. We're still okay because it still has buff immunity. Take it out. Take it out. Okay. Alright. You can see how useless that MG100 though is at this level. A single Houndstooth got very close to taking it out. Actually, before we do this, let's just get an idea of what we would have left over for Mace. So there's not even Mace, I guess, for Tarkin too, because we have parts of a Sith fleet here. But if, aside from that Sith fleet, we would still have part of a fleet for Mace. We'd have like Consular, the scoundrel ship, Lando's Falcon, Ghost and Phantom. We're so close to a couple more fleets. That's why I didn't mind this fleet change. And it's also easy for me to say I've got all the pilots at Gear 11, or at least all the pilots that matter at Gear 11. So I know I did not take it as hard as a lot of players. I guess I'm gonna hit the Falcon. I don't have a tank that's taunting. I should just quit. There's no target lock. If the enemy is hunted, inflict target lock. Sure. Considering how shallow his fleets are, he made the right call, because he also had to think, what if I put a strong defense down? He just got fortunate I wasn't mean. I guess we'll see how the strategies shake out. Over the coming days and weeks. I'm just clicking on stuff now, it doesn't matter. Alright, that is cleared. This is normally when I would end a video, but I'm going to throw some bodies at JMK. And see if a miracle happens, which will not happen. Well, I wonder how Gas would have done. We'll throw in CLS. Hopefully we take out Cat. Then we'll throw in Wampa. That's probably it. And that's the end of it. Thought we'd have more time. I guess if anyone's gonna die, Chewie's probably the best one, if not C-3PO. We're just not doing enough damage. Wonder how his cat's modded. No. No, it doesn't matter. No. It's too late. At higher relics, maybe we take out Cat. forfeit. And let's just see how my boy Wampa does. This is not Wampa's match. Alright, that's the match. That is... A win is not out of the question. It is very unlikely. I have no idea when my opponent is going to go. Hopefully it's somewhat soon. Depending on when it happens, maybe I'll tack it on to the end of the video. But we will wrap it up there. Next time we will see if I get super lucky and miracles happen. I don't think so. A couple videos, talk videos came out earlier this week referencing thoughts on the Grand Arena fleet changes, I believe. Was that right? Breaking down the Outriders kit. Outrider I'm excited for. I do have some concerns about with what that means for Biston. It may mean Biston no longer has a home. Speculate on a... Oh, it wasn't the Grand Arena fleet video. It was my quarterly speculation video. I put out my quarterly speculation video for the next 3 months, looking at what has just happened in Star Wars and what is about to happen in Star Wars, and making some prediction based on reading the tea leaves. That video came out on Monday, I think. And from there, there's a few other videos I am working to get out quickly, and actually I'm going to work on one right after this. So thank you for watching. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. Be safe out there, everyone, and be excellent to each other.